CentralValleyTalk.com.
All right, welcome back to Central Valley Buzz. Make sure to tune in from 3 to 7 to see my buddy Hammer over. Listen to my buddy Hammer on 104.1, the New Rock. Our next guest is Jane Olivera Quebe. Let's bring her in, Billy. Hello, Jane. How are you? Nice to see you.
Yes.
Now, I'm so excited to say that you're going to be a regular on the show with a new segment called the Family Biz Buzz.
Yes. Well, we'll see how it goes today, and then you can let me know if I'll be a regular or not.
Now, before we get started about what your show's about, let's talk about you. Did you grow up in Fresno?
I did. Actually, I grew up in Reedley. Went to Reedley High School.
Wait a minute.
Go Pirates.
I lived in Reedley.
No way.
Yeah, I used to live on Linden, a little short block right over.
I lived right off of Manning where the Me and Ed's is. You got to know where that is.
Well, I had a store over there.
Yeah?
At one point in Reedley. That's how I made my vast millions.
Me too. That's why we're here.
So you started out as a advertising? Is that what you did?
That's still what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really all I know how to do now. I've been doing it for 20 years. Actually started in Fresno at Channel 47, back when they were KJEO. And worked in news for a while, was going to school at Fresno State. Ended up in advertising and been doing it for more than 20 years now.
What's changed from when you started to now?
No more martini lunches.
What?
Oh, man.
Got to work past 4 o'clock.
Is that how it used to be?
Yeah.
As long as the numbers were there, that was okay,
as long
right?
as the numbers were there. And I actually, when I got in the business, I wasn't old enough to drink, but I would hang out, with the crowd.
Now wait a minute. Back then, remember there's that restaurant over by there that was tucked into that whole little business area, and it got
there was
really super busy.
Nicola's was a big hangout on Maroa, Shields and Maroa, and then what was the one? What was the one at Blackstone and Shaw that everybody used to hang out
The Remington.
No, but no.
Did that burn down?
Oh, I'm not remembering it.
I think that one burned.
That was one of them. That was one
Bob
of them.
Farrar.
Oh yeah.
Right? He was the owner of
Yeah.
that. The big real estate guy these days. Okay.
Yeah, so now it's all business.
So you start out at Channel 47,
Yeah.
and then at what point do you just branch out and do it yourself?
Actually worked for another small company in town, and that company just had some financial troubles, and so they ended up closing down, and we just had clients that still wanted to work with us, so we opened up a little shingle, working out of your apartment when you first start out.
Right.
And then, 20 years later, you got 20 some odd employees.
Awesome.
And I tell my husband all the time, we got to make this work because it's all we know how to do now, right?
So you're doing JP marketing.
Yep.
And then so you sign on these car dealerships in the South Valley?
Yes.
That was yours?
Yeah.
And then they say, wait a minute. You need to be our spokesperson.
Yeah,
And then for the next thing you know.
Well, that actually wasn't how it went down.
Okay, well, tell me how it went down.
So we started working with the Grupetti Automotive family, fantastic family. They have 9 brands, 6 rooftops down in the Visalia area. And they said, we're going to do a special sale this weekend, so could you just do maybe this one commercial for us? Just for this weekend, this special promotion.
And had you done that before?
I had done a little bit of work here and there for some local companies, A&M Carpet and Family Company,
Okay.
Fresno Jewelry Mart, a family company, all clients of ours. And so I said, yeah, I can do this one commercial for you. And that was 10 years of doing commercials for them.
And not just doing commercials, but doing a lot of commercials.
A lot of commercials.
You were on all the time.
Yeah. And I'll be back on again here soon because they're doing a 20th anniversary.
Wow.
For Grupetti. So
Wow.
I'll be talking about them in a couple shows from now.
Awesome. Now, now we're joining forces, and you're going to be bringing your show over to here. Tell me what's your idea?
Well, my idea is, it's actually a passion project of mine. So for about the last year, we've decided to really focus our energies on family businesses. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's the mom and pop restaurant on the corner, or it's the this or the that, it's really small business. And that's actually not true. If you look around, the Coca-Colas, the Walmarts, the Ford Motor Companies, a lot of large companies in the United States are family-owned and operated. In fact, the Small Business Association says that 90% of U.S. businesses are family-owned and operated by their definition.
That's good to hear.
So it's huge.
Right.
So we really need to make sure that family businesses are successful. So when you look down at a microcosm here in the Valley and you start looking around at all the businesses that are family-owned, They're everywhere.
Well, even
They're
like
everywhere.
Subways, the franchises,
Yes,
they're family owned.
They're families.
Right.
They're families that are going to work, making a living, paying the bills, and really are the thread that holds the fabric of our economy together.
Right.
And so when I looked at my work history in the last 20 to 25 years of advertising clients that I've had, my favorite clients, the clients that I've had the longest relationships with and the most success with have been family businesses.
Right.
We do have clients that are Fortune 500 companies, but they're just they operate differently.
Totally.
They care more about shareholder dividends and
Right.
things like that, which is important to them. But I want to work with companies where their reputation and their legacy and passing from one generation to the next is more important to them.
Well, you know what we found here, and I think it's kind of like where you're going too, is when you put a personality behind the business, people tend to want to use them and trust them to use them a little bit more.
Now, it's interesting that you talk about trust. As I start doing this segment each month, there's a few topics that I'll cover in each of the segments, and one of those segments is going to be market trends or research trends.
Right.
And we're actually finding right now that young consumers, which are the hot commodity, right? The
Right.
18 to 35s is always
Right.
the hot commodity. You want their discretionary dollars. You want to try to build their brand loyalty. They're actually looking for authenticity. Right? They're
Yes.
looking for businesses that are real. They don't want to be the wool pulled over their eyes. They don't want the latest advertising gimmick.
They don't want to be sold.
They don't want to be sold.
Right.
They just want you to put yourself out there, put a good product, good service, and they want that to come authentically. And family businesses are the best position to do that if the family business tells their story.
Right.
So a lot of family businesses, we find, don't talk about it. They think that it makes them look small time or unsophisticated. We need to change the mindset.
Well, with these days of social networking, and it's really affordable for a small business to kind of get their name out there, whereas before, the advertising costs are just astronomical, and a lot of businesses can't afford it, or if they do, they find out later on that they can't afford it.
Or tell your story in other ways, too. Most family businesses, a lot of family businesses have a retail front. So maybe you can't afford to do a television commercial, but there's a lot of ways, a lot of things you could come on a show like this for a
Right.
small budget. You can tell your story inside your restaurant. Put a little flyer on your table that talks about your family history. There's a lot of local family businesses that do
Right.
that. The Salazar family does that.
They do a great job of it.
They do a great job of telling their
Starting
family
out in the
story.
chicken coop, everybody knows the story.
Everybody
right?
knows the
Right.
story, right? And so family businesses need to be proud of their heritage. And we're finding in the research that young consumers want to know that story. They want to know what's behind the family business, where their products are coming from,
Right.
how are they treating their people, how are they treating the animals if it's a product, if it's an ag product,
Right.
There's so many stories to be told in the Valley, and we're hoping that we can help be the vehicle to tell those stories and help be an inspiration to small businesses, and maybe give them a few little tips along the way to help them promote their business.
Now, you've done some of these interviews already, right?
We
with,
have.
with some smaller and some bigger companies.
We have. Actually, if you go to familybizbuzz.org, that's where my passion project lives. And we go out and we interview family businesses and try to unpack what's made them successful. And so one of the ones, if you go on the site now and you click on the button that says interviews and you scroll down, you'll see the Johansson family.
And what do they do?
They are a very large shipping and trucking organization based right here, actually on Olive Avenue, just the other direction. It's a father and son owned company. They grew from 4 family members to 60 employees.
Wow.
And they ship products. Walmart's one of their accounts.
Good
Just
for
to
them.
give you an example of how large this family business has become. It's a quiet family business, but extremely well run. And I love, if you click on the interviews, you'll see Dick, who's the founder, Richard Johansson. He talks about the core values of their company, and that's the part that gets me
Right,
excited.
right.
They are so committed to their core values that they engraved them on a brass plaque and mounted it to the outside of their building. So everybody that goes inside and out of that building sees their core values, employees, clients, vendors.
That's
and
an
I thought
awesome
it's
idea.
a commitment.
Very strong.
But they believe that's what's helped them grow over the years, to help make good decisions and do it with integrity and respect and kindness and ethics. Those
Well,
are their
that's a big business. Tell me about a smaller one.
Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. You got to define small. Raisana Teas
Okay.
is a local
Love 'em.
small company, right? They do an amazing job of telling their story. Every time they're talking about their customers and they're talking about their quality products. So you don't have to guess what's important to them. You know, if you follow them on Instagram or you follow them on Facebook, very, very small budgets, but committed.
Right.
They're always talking about their customers and making their customers happy, and they want you to be happy.
And they do some cool stuff down there,
Oh,
too.
they just do some cool stuff, and they give you the opportunity to explore new flavors and be exposed to new things, but they care about their customers as human beings.
Right.
It's a great story.
Awesome. Well, Jane, this is our first.
This is our first
segment.
How'd we do?
We did. I think we did really good. I can't wait to see your next segment of the Family Biz Buzz.
Yes,
And
we'll
that-
bring clips and we'll have stories and we'll get this thing highly produced.
Okay, and that'll be the
think we
first
passed the
first
grade.
Monday of April.
First Monday of every month.
Okay, Jane Olivera Quebe from
Thank
JP
you.
Marketing. Thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you.